This is Tuesday, August 28th, and we're going to be doing learning stuff. Make sure I see your book report book coming up by Thursday. If you're dead at home, bring it tomorrow. If I don't see it by Thursday, I get to be mean to you. We have a quiz coming up on Friday. My quizzes are open note, open everything. Bring that handout from the very first day of school. You get to use it on the quiz. And then also bring your notebook. That'll help you out on the quiz. And then we're going to create a bell work, so hopefully you can read this. It's today's date, number 3, and it says ink me up.
Excuse you.
Sorry. When I talk a lot, with the breathing, it makes me swallow air, which makes me hiccup and burp. It would be embarrassing if I had emotions. Then for our actual bell work, here's what you're going to do. I'll read through it in case you're at home and can't see it super well, but hopefully, fingers crossed, at a high enough resolution. What you're doing is you're going to tell me why you agree or disagree with each one. Do not just write agree or disagree. Explain to me why you feel that way, because we're going to have a discussion bit. Those of you who are at home, what you're going to have to do is we're going to be reading an article, so you're going to get to listen to me read it, and then I'll give you a paper copy of it tomorrow, your very own to love and cherish forever and ever, and then you're going to listen to us have a little debatey thing and stuff like that, so hopefully it helps you out. Those of you playing the live version, here with me right now, let's help you out. We're going to go through and see your thoughts on each one of these, on whether you agree or disagree. Then we're going to have a little discussion-y thing, where we're going to try and not have us yell at each other too much, and then we're going to read the article and then do another discussion thing. First one. I would happily get a tattoo now if given the chance. If you agree, raise your hand. And if you disagree, raise your hand. Alright? I appreciate you being... Hey, part of it is sometimes if you're the only one that feels a way, you be strong. That does not mean you're wrong. It just means that you disagree with others. 2, we're going to do this one twice. My parents would allow me to get a tattoo if I asked right now. Agree, raise your hand. That's probably... good.
It depends.
That sounds like an interesting discussion. And then we'll do it a second time. My parents would allow me to get a tattoo if I asked eventually. Raise your hand if you agree. And then raise your hand if you disagree.
Like in the future, like
Yeah.
in like college or something?
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, just checking. And then 3, the government should not control what parents can do with their kids. Agree? Alright. Disagree. It's not an easy answer. A lot of them are going to be there's no black and white, but I got to make you pick one or the other for discussion.
Some people are weird. I've
4,
watched a lot of weird stuff.
a junior high kid getting a permanent tattoo should be illegal. Agree? Disagree? Alright. Now we'll get to come back to the discussion bits here in a second. With this, 1, as some of us learned last week, there are bad questions. Be careful with your bad questions. They can come back to haunt you. One of the drawbacks to our discussion as we go through and do things is you're going to become interested in class. And the drawback to becoming interested in class is going to cause you to be all thinky and disgusting. And so when you start being distracting with your conversations, that's when I'm going to have to be mean to you. But if you can sometimes low-key whisper your thing, if you're like, I just need to tell someone this thing about, and if you can find someone to whisper to, but as soon as I notice and become distracted, that's when I have to attack you. Because if not, it's kind of hard to have a discussion when you guys are all yelling at each other back and forth. And having a disagreement is good. You're supposed to disagree with people. So you're not supposed to make everyone agree with you. But Mr. Brovicast, I disagree with you right now. Well, you're wrong. But the rest of you, it's okay to have disagreements. That's the way things work. That's why the whole government, Republican, Democrat, you're supposed to have people on different sides because that's what makes the world less boring. I think more or less boring is the way of saying it.
Okay.
The first one, I'm going to skip number 3, because that's what I'm most curious right now, because of time-wise, to see your thoughts on it. The government should not control what parents can do with their kids. Why, one way or the other, do you feel about this when explaining your thoughts? Rogers?
I said, I feel the government should have some rules, but I don't think they can tell parents how to parent their kids.
Why not?
Because...
Wait, back up real quick. In your opinion, are there bad parents?
Yes.
Alright. So, in your opinion, again, if there are bad parents, should the government not step in to help them become better parents?
They should.
So that would be the government getting involved with how families work.
Child services.
So you're saying that the government should control what parents can do with their kids because of bad parents.
Well, I think they should have rules
Okay.
because of bad parents, but they shouldn't. Yeah, I think they should have some rules that can apply to all parents. And then if you're bad parents, you just go get help.
The problem comes in, if you're a bad parent, you're probably not going to go get help. That's what makes you a bad parent. Thus, the cycle continues. But not a bad start. Mika?
So I said disagree because my mom told me that there were these parents that they had like 7 kids or something, big amount like that.
That's a big number, yes.
Ranging from like ages 5 to
Some other number?
some other
27.
high number.
Right, okay.
And so they would.
If you need to, drink
Hold on.
some water.
You're getting
Okay,
choked up
good.
just thinking about it. I understand. Happens to me too.
I was sick over the weekend.
Okay.
So they would chain them to their beds and starve them.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, yeah.
And
Why would you have 7 kids then if you're just going to start?
I don't know. So that's when the government needs to step in because they found out about that, and obviously those parents were arrested. So that's when the government is needed. But I agree that they shouldn't control everything because
But they should
little
control
things-
some things.
some things.
That was my
yes, little
And
things.
the issue
don't
comes
really
in,
matter.
who gets to decide which things? And that's the problem what comes in is like, well, they should control some things. Well, then who gets to decide that? The government should. So the government should decide what things they get. And that's where you start going down. And what you brought up was the idea of discipline, which is a tough one. Because discipline, a lot of families disagree on how far discipline should go. And some people are like, well, you should never spank a kid at all. Like, you should never put your hand on a child. All you do is, like, be very verbal. But the problem is, I have a younger brother, and my younger brother, yelling at him did nothing. Like, he was like, words, they just bounce off of me. And he's like, I'm going to run in traffic. No, Nick. He's like, I don't care. He's like, unless, like, you grabbed him, like, it did nothing. So, like, for him, you had to actually physically do things to him. For me, I was that shy, sensitive child. I'm not now.
What?
When I was a kid, I was. And a stern look would make me cry as a kid. So for me, my parents were like, David, I'm like, and I start crying while my brother was like dancing in front of semis. And so you have to have that variance between the two of them. But that comes into the same idea of, should the government be able to step in and go, all right, you can spank kids, but you can't use a belt. Or you can use a belt, but you can't chain your kid to a bed. And so at some point you have to decide, where does the government get to step in? Cooper?
I don't think the government should have control over parents because it's their kid.
So America, land of the free? Even if America means land of the free, it means ironically you chain your kid to a bed, which is the opposite of freedom, but it's my right to chain my child to a bed. And that's where it gets tough, because you're like, land of the free! So I'm free to beat my kid. Land... Now, you're like, well, yeah, that's how life... I know. Big kid choices make things tough. Olivia?
Okay, so I disagree. I disagree because some parents need to have reasonable rules because some people are strange.
What?
Some people are strange.
Oh, strange.
I
thought you said
We're just gonna leave it at that.
There are definitely strange people
We're
in the
just
world.
gonna leave it at that.
Harvey!
Jackson.
Right now, it is actually illegal to, in Indiana, at least, I believe it's illegal to beat your kid with an object beside your hand.
It's the simple stuff. Don't
I
paddle
don't
your
know.
child, don't
Oddly
take
enough, it's
the
not a
ball.
thing I've looked up, but there's every chance of it.
So no
Now, Brovicast.
No.
Paddling.
No, and that goes, once again, and that comes down to the, should the government be able to tell you that? And that becomes that whole discussion thing that makes things a little bit tougher. Caleb?
Just put laws on stuff like stuff that you shouldn't even have to say, like no paddling people and.
And that's where, once again, a discussion I had earlier with the class, too, was like, well, some things are just obvious. I'm like, well, if they were obvious, no one would do them, and we wouldn't have to worry about the law. The problem is, it's not obvious to everybody, and some people make those poor choices, so that's where it goes.
They do.
Mika?
So, I'm just wondering, so So let's say the government makes these rules that you can't chain your child to a bed.
Right.
How does the government know if you're chaining your child to your bed or not? Because they're not hiding
Correct.
in your bedroom.
And that's where
at
the
night.
information comes out, where oftentimes, like, in this particular case, like the kids will say something at school. And that's where teachers, like on Mondays when you guys get out early and teachers have to go to boring teacher meetings, those are some of the meetings we go to. Clues we have to look for, like, if you see kids doing these particular things, there's probably issues at home. So look for these things. And then we have to go contact people and they come and check the home. Like, this kid's always coming into school with little marks on his wrist, and every time I dangle my handcuffs in front of him, he starts screaming. There's a good chance that he has issues, and so you contact the parents. And so that's usually not like from finding out. It's usually because either like someone has looked through a window, or the kids have told somebody, or something like that. And basically, it just means that once they do find out, we can prosecute and like take the kids away. Whereas if it wasn't against the law, we just like, sucks to be you, kids. Have fun on that bed. And so that's where we try to be able to step in and do something. And here's where it gets tough. I have to stop you for a moment. We have to go back to the actual article, because trust me, once we get done reading, we're going to have more issues we have to talk about. Because once again, I found an article about a mom that had, it's okay though, because she had it done at a party while she was making good choices. And I think that excuses everything. As we get into it, these are the three things I'm going to ask you afterwards. Is there anything in the article that surprised you? I mean, aside from you read the title and you're like, Mom arrested over 12-year-old daughter's tattoo. Nope, I know what to expect. But if we get into it and there's something that surprises you, that's my question at the end. And then the whole learning bits, figuring out the difference between opinions and facts. By the way, yes, you can write on this. I would highly recommend it. It makes future use life easier because you get to use this when it comes time for quizzes and tests. And any writing and marking you've done on there is like helping future you cheat. So all you're doing is making future use life easier. Caleb?
The surprising thing was,
Well, we haven't gotten to it yet. Hold on to that thought. Let me finish the reading, then you get to be surprised.
alright, gosh.
Slow kid?
Is Noonan, Georgia, by chance close to Florida?
Could be. I do not know exactly where it is, but
Because the craziest headlines always come from
the
Florida.
Florida man. Yeah, and part of the reason is it's not because Florida has more issues, but Florida has a legal loophole where they are allowed to publish anything that hits the police blotter. And whereas like any other state, you have to like go through legal things first. And in Florida, as soon as you get arrested, they can put it in the newspaper. And that's why all of a sudden all the crazy things come from Florida. Whereas like here, you get like the protection of like lawyers first, and Florida like, liars! They just go ahead and put it straight in the news, and that's why you get all the crazy stuff from Florida. So it's not just Florida's crazier, they're just allowed to publish all the crazy stuff that happens everywhere. We just get to read about it there. But stop distracting me. Horrible child. Mom arrested over 12-year-old daughter's tattoo. The mother of a 12-year-old girl has been arrested after a Jesus Loves tattoo was spotted on her daughter's shoulder. The tattoo, which also featured a blue-green cross, was seen by a 5th grade teacher at Arnco Sargent Elementary in Noonan, Georgia, during a school dance when the girl wore a strapless dress, according to 11 Alive Atlanta. The teacher called the police to report it. Each of the parents had a different story, and it boiled down to, frankly, just finger-pointing. Lieutenant Jason Fettner of the Coweta County Sheriff's Office told the news station. The girl originally told authorities that her father forced her to get the tattoo and that it angered her mother. Later, the girl reportedly changed her story to say that she had wanted to get the tattoo. The father, meanwhile, told authorities that his daughter had gotten the tattoo at a Super Bowl party. This was confirmed by a video of tattoo artist Brenda Gaddy tattooing several people there, including a number of minors, said Fettner. So she's not the only kid with a tattoo from the party. It's difficult to imagine how, as a parent, you think it's appropriate to supervise or allow someone to give your child a tattoo at that age. Gaddy was arrested along with the girl's mom, Emmy Nolan, 35. You guys know what that 35 means? Her age. Just making sure you weren't confused. So this means she was 35. Who was charged with being a party to a crime. I think it's unfortunate in that the child actually wanted to get the tattoo, said Fettner. It's not like the child was forced to get the tattoo. I think it just comes down to bad parenting. The story of the Jesus Loves tat sparked controversy on Facebook, where 11 Alive posted its report on Tuesday morning. Although tattooing minors is illegal in the state of Georgia and in Indiana, and laws vary by state, with some allowing the tattooing of minors with parental consent, The Post asked its readers, are tattoos under the age of 18 appropriate? We're asking because a mom was charged after her 5th grader got this tattoo at a Super Bowl party. Some answered in black and white terms, including one woman who noted, the point of it being appropriate or not is not the issue. It is against the law. There are some things that people just have to wait on. There's a consequence to the action of allowing the child to do it and the artist for doing it. Another said this, under 18 is not acceptable. Kids are impulsive and unable to make proper decisions on their own. Plus, just look at how ugly that tattoo is. She's going to regret it later. The mother should be charged. That's irresponsible parenting. And another commenter said, at that age, no way. I was in my mid-20s when I got my first tattoo, and I'm glad I waited that long. Knew of someone that would do tattoos for kids when I was a teenager, but never had the guts to do it. If I had, I would have been stuck forever with something silly and could have gotten a nasty infection. But others had more surprising reactions. It's perfectly legal and socially acceptable for mothers to abort their children. But it's illegal and socially unacceptable for mothers to get their child a tattoo? How's that make sense? Finally, though, was the comment from a mother who said her own 15-year-old had just decided to get a tattoo to honor his recently deceased father. So don't judge people, she wrote, because you never know what their story is. And that picture at the bottom is, I found a picture of the tattoo they were talking about. So that is the tattoo the girl got that said Jesus loves. For those of you who are planning on getting one later, you have an idea of what to make it. Jesus loves. All right, and I'm sure he does. He might not love the tattoo though. So first off, things that surprised you in the story. Yes.
Slow Kid says that I found it surprising that people like. I thought the last comment about how like
don't judge people.
Yeah, don't judge people's stories. I thought that one was okay, but I thought like the child abortion comment on the rest of that. I just don't know how a parent would say yes. I'm going to let my 11-year-old get a tattoo.
To help you out with that, when did she get the tattoo?
It was 12.
Well, I'm like, where was she?
At
At a Super Bowl party. If you've ever been to one or know adults who go, what tends to happen at Super Bowl parties? Drinking. So I've got a feeling Mom was not in the best state of mind when she was like, woo, tattoo my baby, when she decided to have this particular thing done. Plus, there's every chance the tattoo artist herself may have been under the same influence, if you will. As a kid pointed out earlier, Mr. Brovicast, look at that tattoo. I think the artist was drunk. I don't know. She might just be a bad tattoo artist. I don't have any other work to compare it to. But there's every chance that that might have been why the poor choices were made. Lexi?
I just find it surprising that, like, people didn't, like, necessarily question how, like, what state she was in. And didn't ask, like, where was she when this was happening? What was her, like, how was she acting while it was happening?
By the meaning the daughter or the mom?
The mom.
Yeah, that's, well, then again, maybe they're just like parents. I don't know. But yeah, you would think you'd have some follow-up questions that would go along with it. Geeks?
Okay, so really quickly, going back to earlier, my mom would probably let me when I was old enough, and depending on what it is, like something like the last thing with his deceased father, like my mom would let me do something like that when I was young enough.
If it had meaning.
Yes.
There you go. We have our day of learning and nonfiction and figuring out how things go. Tomorrow, we go a different direction with short stories. Thursday, more short stories. Friday, a quiz. And then you get a break from me. Harvey!